Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Welcome into the Steelers Talk Live Show. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on a Victory Monday. It's preseason, Coop, but it's always good to celebrate a Victory Monday.
Are we counting this?
I'm counting it, all right? Over 30 points. Offense played well. Defense did some good things. I'm excited for the season, and I thought it was a good first preseason game there on Saturday. But before we get into the content today, guys, we got some good stuff coming to you. Our practice report from Latrobe coming up later. Make sure you guys spam those me's down there in the comments section to kick off today's show. If you've liked the stream, Cassie's watching us from the airport. She's finally coming back to Texas. She just got done with a big work trip. So I'm going to be picking her up later today. We've got football edits in here. Omar Khan, Christopher Domingo, Czar Craig, Fluvin. We got Joe, we got Ben, we got iDrop, we got football edits, Chuck Dugan, we got JT Clover, Taco Salad, Steel Eye is here, we've got Superfell, we got Omar Khan,
Kermit.
Tito, we got Kermit is my God, George McConnell, Jordan Barnes, Dad Bod City Savage, that's a great name right there. We got Martin, Tremaine, John, we got X-Punger, I hope I'm saying that right. Brock Walker, Carl, Martin. We got a good crew of Steelers fans ready to talk some Steelers football here, Coop. And before we get into the content today, let's have a little bit of a conversation here about the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line, which the starting unit looked really good on Saturday against the Jaguars. They went up against the Jaguars starters on the defensive front there. Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, a former number one pick, and Broderick Jones and Troy Fautano combined for 0 pressures on the 2 drives that they played. So I thought they played pretty darn well. Only 2 rushing snaps between the first team offensive line. First one I thought they lost. Second one I thought they won. But your thoughts on the offensive line and Broderick Jones at this point?
I thought they played pretty well, like you said, against the first team of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have some decently talented players on that side. I'll never put too much stock into preseason football. I think what's happening in the practices is probably a little more important than what's going on in the games. But overall, I would say you have to be pretty satisfied, right, with what they did against Jacksonville.
Yep.
I'm still a little worried about Broderick and his outlook for the future, but it was a good start to the preseason for him.
Yeah, I think that he had a really good week last week. It was capped off by a good performance in the game. Didn't allow a single pressure against, a legit number one edge rusher in Josh Hines-Allen in 2 drives. So that's good stuff to see right there from Broderick and Fautano. And I thought McCormick and Frazier looked good as well. We're going to talk about it on our first segment today, guys. This offensive line is massive for the success of the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. If they don't have that offensive line working, it's going to put a cap and a ceiling on this football team this year. But if that offensive line can have a breakout season like Mike Tomlin says that he expects them to, Aaron Rodgers is going to have time to throw. Kaleb Johnson's going to have rushing lanes to exploit, and this offense could legitimately, take a big step forward compared to where they've been in years past. So really excited about that. Also, the big story today, apparently, I don't know if there's been a court document that is being floated around Steelers Twitter today regarding Calvin Austin III and something regarding an animal and dangerous animal or something like that.
No way.
The way that I took the charge was like he has a quote unquote dangerous animal and it attacked somebody. Like a pit bull or something.
That's not related to him practicing or not, is it?
Some people are speculating that it is. There's people saying it's just an injury. There's people saying that he might be holding out.
Or holding in.
Or holding in, because he is at camp. He is there with the team, but he hasn't been practicing for over a week now. So there are some people that are starting to speculate out there, and we're going to be talking about that on our first segment today as well. But kind of some crazy speculation going around Calvin. Until he practices, that speculation will continue. But before we get into our first segment today, guys, if you want to donate to the show, we greatly appreciate your guys' support. If we can make $50 on today's live stream, we'll give away a Steelers Talk hat at the end of the program via a raffle. And here is our donation menu today, guys. $5 gets you into that raffle. $10 gets you 3 raffle tickets. $10 or $20 gets you 10 tickets. And we will not spin the wheel, but we will get your name on the gong. So that's an F Coop in the chat, by the way. And then every $50 that we get on the show, we're going to be doing a lemon shot. And then $250 total today, we will hit the Steelers Talk gong here. And, of course, $20 you get your name on the gong. So if you guys want to get your super chats in, we greatly appreciate your guys' support. And I will double your raffle tickets for a Steelers Talk hat today if you guys send in a Venmo or PayPal instead of a super chat. We're not going to say no to super chats, guys, but YouTube takes a 30% cut of every single super chat that you guys send in, which obviously we're not fans of. So if you guys want us to keep more of the proceeds from the donations that you give to the channel, you guys can send it to @Jack-Sperry or @CaptainJackRabbit on PayPal. And if you do so, we will make sure to get you double the raffle entries on today's show. A $20 super chat to kick it off today. And it's coming from Alex Lanier, my man. Says, please donate my raffle ticket for the hat to Steelers Talk family. So that is 10 raffle tickets right there, Coop. So spam those me's in the chat. If you want a free raffle entry, Coop is going to put 10 of you guys in the raffle right now. We got DJ KJ, we got Fluvin, we got Omar Khan, we got Superfell, we got Christopher, we got Brock, we got Ben. We've got, they're coming so fast. DJ KJ, Omar Khan, Kermit is my God. We got CJ Ross. We've got Chris Burgee. We got Keith. We got Scott. We got Martin. We got Joe. We got Czar Craig. We got Factual. We got Erst.
I need 2 more.
Need 2 more? How about we go Kermit? Do we have Kermit?
Kermit's in.
All right. Daryl Oglesby is here. Good to see you, Daryl. And then we've got George McConnell.
Related to Alex Connell?
I don't know. But we just got a PayPal here, so I will send this your way, Coop.
Good.
Nobody gets that joke, but that's okay.
They don't need to.
Yeah, they don't need to. All right, man. We got over 180 Yinzers ready to talk some Steelers football with us today. Big shout out to Alex Lanier with the $20 super chat to get us started today. We got our first PayPal coming in here from Paul Boone with a $25 super chat. Gets him those, I believe that's 22 raffle entries for Paul. And then there's no message attached to it, so he just sent in a 25. So, Paul, you are in the raffle, my friend. Thank you for the 25. Guys, right now, we are just $5 away from locking in the hat raffle. So if somebody wants to send in a 5, we lock in the raffle today, and you guys get a raffle entry when you guys send in that $5 super chat. Plus, you can get a question up here on screen next to me and Coop. If you got something you want to ask about Calvin, if there's something you want to ask about the game on Saturday, if there's something you want to ask about joint practice that's going to be happening on Wednesday this week, let me know down there in the comments section. We got another $2 super chat coming in from Bernard Nixon, my man. Always ask the best questions. Bernard's been one of the real ones for the last few weeks here. $2 from Bernard says, Pony thinks Mason is better than Rodgers.
Oh, believe me, Bernard. We discussed.
You know what? Yeah, Coop and I discussed this earlier. 93.7 The Fan actually roasted Pony on their own Twitter account today.
That's his own employer.
That's his own employer saying last week, I'm not going to overreact to preseason games. Right after the preseason game, Mason's better than Aaron Rodgers. It's just classic Pony. I think we all understand what Pony is. He's a shock jock. Frankly, he wants attention. That's why he says a lot of the things that he says. So, that's why he's saying that stuff, because he knows it's going to stir the pot. And you know what? More power to him. So, no, I do not believe Mason Rudolph is better than Aaron Rodgers.
I blocked Pony on Twitter.
I know you blocked him. I didn't, but because frankly, I like getting mad when
getting rage baited?
I like getting rage baited a little bit. It's my guilty pleasure a little bit.
You're crazy for that.
I am a little bit crazy for that. But if you guys want to get a free raffle entry today for a Steelers Talk hat, we're only $3 away, by the way, from locking in that raffle. But you guys can follow me on Twitter @Jack_Sperry. On Twitter, I'm actually doing my NFL quarterback rankings right now. Today we put in our number 14 entry with Jared Goff with the Detroit Lions. So if you guys want to see my list to this point and my entry every single day on that list, plus Steelers training camp updates every single day, you guys can follow me at Jack_Sperry for your daily Steelers dose. All right, so now here is our XP leaderboard today. Of course, Alex Lanier with that $20 super chat. He is leading the XP race right now. Of course, you got Bernard in second place with his super chats. And then who is that? Is that Steelers Nation? Who is that? I don't recognize that name, Coop.
Doesn't let me click on it.
Well, whoever it is.
I don't know.
You're in third place, my friend. We did just get another PayPal, too.
Chills.
And that is sent.
Cool.
So just so you guys know what our plan is for the rest of the week, we will be live again later this week on Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, just like our normal live schedule. And then on Saturday, we'll be going live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That is an hour before kickoff for the Steelers-Buccaneers preseason game. We had our first live watch party last weekend. It was a lot of fun, guys, on Saturday. You guys really showed out in full force, so thank you guys so much for doing that. We're going to have another good time with Ponzi and with Coop on Saturday, so if you guys want to join us at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, feel free to do so and click that subscribe button if you haven't already. $10 from a PayPal from Neil Merrick. Good to see you, Neil. And his note was, "Here we go, Steelers, here we go." Oh, by the way, I think I have to put Paul's name on the gong here because he sent in 20.
Put it in then.
I will put it on.
Bring them in then.
Here we go, Paul.
Shout out, Paul.
Shout out to Paul Boone.
Got another super chat coming in here from CJ Ross. CJ, we'll get you on the screen here.
CJ was one of our XP leaderboard members on the show on Saturday. CJ with a 5 coming in. He says, "I think we still need to pick up Amari Cooper." You know, something that I could see happen, Coop, is I could see the Steelers, if it really is the case that Calvin is holding in and he wants a new contract before, the season begins this year, I could see the Steelers potentially trading him away. Now,
trading Calvin away.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing with Calvin. My advice to him would be, if he is holding in, just play out this season. Have a really good year with the Pittsburgh Steelers and get your money next offseason. Because right now, there's not really anybody that's going to be willing to pay him a ton of money because he's never had more than, 600 yards receiving in a season. He's not really a proven entity. He was, even on the Steelers last year, he wasn't even second on this team in wide receiver snaps. Van Jefferson beat him out in that regard, even though Calvin was pretty clearly the second best receiver on the team. So, we'll do some speculating as to what's going on our first segment today. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Here's the thing with Amari Cooper, though, guys. He's not a very good run blocker, all right? And that's probably going to be something that Arthur Smith doesn't want in his offense. He wants high-effort run blockers. That's why they like Roman Wilson so much. Cooper is somebody that,
he's a route runner.
Route runner, big body, really quick feet. He can catch back shoulders and stuff like that. But I actually think that that's the type of receiver that Aaron Rodgers works well with. Devontae Adams was that type of receiver, for example. So, not to say Cooper has ever been where Devontae is even now. Devontae is still awesome. But
shout out to Paul Boone in the chat who sent in the Venmo earlier. He did say his Christmas list is, "I want Terry McLaurin."
Yeah, unfortunately, guys, that's not going to happen. We've covered it on the show. The Commanders don't want to trade him, first of all, and even if they did, they would want a really good receiver included in the trade because Terry's their number one receiver, and they're trying to win now. So, they're not going to take Calvin Austin III in return in a trade. If you were the Commanders, all right, and you have Jaden Daniels, and Terry McLaurin's your number one receiver, are you really trading him away for Calvin Austin III and a pick that you're not going to be able to use until next year? There's no way that they're going to do that. So they're going to get a deal done with Terry. But even if they do trade him away, I really don't think the Steelers have the ammo to be able to get him in that trade. I think other teams like the Colts and Patriots and Chargers maybe and some other teams have more ammo to get a Terry McLaurin if the Commanders do decide to trade him. So unfortunately, I don't think Christmas is coming for you, my friend Paul. But we just got a Venmo here. I'll send it your way.
Wonderful.
All right, you guys are coming out in full force with these donations to start off today's show. You guys are awesome. But yeah, man. So I don't know what's gonna happen here, man. Like, hopefully Calvin seriously just has a minor injury and he's at practice tomorrow and everything is good. But the longer that he is not at practice, the more these questions are gonna pop up for sure. So Derek Smith, my man, with a $20 super chat says, "What is up, my dudes? What is up, Derek? Thanks for stopping by here on a Monday." Awesome $20 super chat, and he's already on the Gong, so we don't have to worry about that. But we are past $50 already, so I got to do a lemon shot here for you guys, actually.
You'll do the lemon shot, and then we'll talk some Steelers?
Sounds like a plan to me, man.
After, because CJ Ross just sent another super chat.
All right.
That'll be our last one, though, and then we'll take all your supers after our segment.
All right.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling okay, man. I'm feeling okay. All right, CJ Ross with another 5. So that's another raffle ticket for my man CJ. He says, given that our run offense didn't look good on Saturday, is that an Arthur Smith problem or an O-line? I think Arthur Smith scheme. I think it was the backup offensive line because you pretty much had your third string offensive line out there. You didn't have Ryan McCollum, your backup center. He was injured. You didn't have Calvin Anderson out there. Your backup left tackle, he was injured. It just wasn't a good showing for the backup O-line. But, people are freaking out right now about the way that the offensive line looked and the run game looked in the preseason game. And I'm just trying to tell you guys, man, the starting offense only had 2 rushing snaps the entire game, and they looked pretty good in those 2 rushing snaps. All right, so those are the players that'll be on the field on Sundays. Doug Nestor is not going to be on the field on Sundays, and if he is, we're in big fucking trouble. All right, so people are freaking out because the backup O-line didn't block well for Kaleb Johnson. I'm not worried about it at all. All right, at least not right now because the offensive line actually did a really good job. The starting O-line did a great job out there on those first 2 drives. In fact, they drove the first team Jacksonville Jaguars defensive line backwards on the one play where Kaleb ended up stiff-arming Travis Hunter. That those are the guys that are going to be out there on the field, guys, and that's without Isaac Seumalo as well. So I think the starting offensive line looked good. With the injuries that you have on the second team unit, obviously they didn't look great, but those aren't the players that will be on the field. So that's not a concern for me right now, CJ. I think hopefully at least the Steelers' offensive line in this run game will be just fine once we get into the regular season. All right, now we're getting into our first segment of the day. I see Steelers Nation down there just put in a $5 super chat. We will get to that right after our first cut here today. So let's get into our practice report from Latrobe. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Today we have a lot of Steelers news and rumors to discuss as Steelers resumed training camp practice at St. Vincent College in Latrobe this afternoon. First up on today's show, I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't be worried about Kaleb Johnson after his lackluster performance, or at least lackluster production in his preseason debut versus the Jaguars last weekend. Then we'll go into Coach T's interview with the Pivot podcast with Ryan Clark, and he makes an interesting admission that I wanted to talk about today. Then we'll get into the Steelers Monday practice report. How did Aaron Rodgers look? How did Roman Wilson look? How did DK Metcalf look? We'll have all my notes from today's practice later in today's show, which includes Darius Slay getting an injury at practice. I'll let you guys know how serious that injury is, and we'll finish up today's show with kind of breaking down what the heck is going on with Calvin Austin III right now. Is he holding in? Is he actually injured? What is going on with the Steelers' number 2 wide receiver? We're going to be covering that later in today's show, so don't go anywhere. But before we get into the content today, make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We provide you guys free and informative Steelers content on this channel every single day. Also, we give you guys breaking news coverage every time the con artist makes a big move. We have weekly live shows, at least 2 during the week, and then 1 for a Steelers watch party for every single Steelers game this year. And it's all 100% free. Guys, we are right on the door of 89,000 1,000 subscribers right now, so make sure you click that subscribe button right now and help us get to that next grand. Okay, so now let's get into our first story today, which is that a lot of people on Steelers Twitter and elsewhere are panicking that Kaleb Johnson sucks and that he's terrible and that he looked awful in the preseason debut versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. And guys, I just really couldn't disagree with this more. Now, when you look at the stat sheet, okay, maybe it doesn't look fantastic. 8 carries for only 20 yards, 1 catch for 6 yards, and he had a drop as well. So people are looking at that stat line, and they were expecting big things out of his preseason debut, and they're a little bit underwhelmed by that. And, I would just want to say this to you guys right now. I think Kaleb looked fine, and I think he's going to be fine out there, guys, heading into the regular season. Okay, it's preseason, first of all. Second of all, the backup offensive line was out there for most of his carries, and I think that he did a good job lowering the shoulder. And you look at the production in that game. He had 20 total yards of rushing in that football game, but he had 25 yards after contact. So that just shows you how much he was being contacted either at or behind the line of scrimmage and how much his offensive line, specifically that second team unit, which has a lot of injuries on it, right? No Calvin Anderson, no Ryan McCollum, all right, in the Steelers' depth as it was, isn't very good as it stands right now. So, Kaleb was running behind a really bad backup offensive line, and he was being contacted behind the line of scrimmage quite a bit. And I really do think heading into next season, I think Caleb's biggest X factor heading into this season, I should say, is going to be the offensive line, all right? Because I think he showed on Saturday that he's not somebody that in the backfield is going to juke you out and make you miss and, be a shifty type of running back. He's not somebody with great acceleration. He's not somebody that's got incredibly shifty feet like, say, a Jaylen Warren does. So he needs an offensive line that's going to be able to create run lanes for him, to win the line of scrimmage and limit the amount of times he gets contacted either at or behind the line of scrimmage. I think that I could see two very different outcomes here for Kaleb Johnson in his rookie season. I think if the offensive line breaks out in this unit with Broderick Jones and Troy Fautano and Zach Frazier and Isaac Seumalo and Mason McCormick, if this group kind of gels and they play really well this year, Kaleb Johnson could be a top rookie running back this year, because once he gets to that second level and he can use that vision and his patience to kind of build up that speed when you're doing wide zone and you're doing outside zone, the stuff that Arthur Smith loves running, by the way, Kaleb Johnson can be absolutely an explosive running back for this offense and be one of the most productive rookie running backs in the league. But if the offensive line disappoints and, they're constantly allowing defenders in the backfield and they're not getting a lot of push at the line of scrimmage, then Kaleb might not even be able to take the number one running back job by the end of the season. And we might be talking about Jaylen Warren as this team's number one running back throughout the entire season if this offensive line can't get it figured out. But the good news on that, guys, is that the starting offensive line on Saturday looked really good versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, there was only 2 rushing snaps, but I thought Kaleb and the offensive line looked pretty decent on those 2 snaps. And then something that was really encouraging, specifically about the 2 former first-round picks, Broderick Jones and Troy Fautano, is that on their 24 combined snaps on offense in that football game, they allowed 0 pressures on the quarterback. So they were doing their job as offensive tackles, and hopefully they can continue to do that heading into the regular season this year. And by the way, Jones and Fautano did this against the first-team Jaguars defensive line with Josh Hines-Allen, a legit number 1 edge rusher, playing against them, like Trayvon Walker, a former number 1 overall pick. They were able to shut down those guys on the first 2 drives of the game, which certainly points this offensive line in a good direction heading into the 2025 season. So let me know down there in the comments section, who will be the leading rusher for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season? Type KJ if you still think it's Kaleb Johnson, or if you think Jaylen Warren is going to get the most rushing yards this year for this team, type JDub down there in the comments section. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds, guys, and when that happens, take advantage of that time. But let me know who you think RB1 in Pittsburgh is going to be here in 2025. So head coach Mike Tomlin made his yearly appearance at this point on the Pivot podcast. Of course, him and Ryan Clark, one of the hosts of the Pivot podcast, is extremely close. And he, at this point, it's pretty much a yearly thing where he goes on this podcast in Latrobe. He did it last year. He did it again this year. And Ryan Clark asked him how he deals with the critics that say that the Steelers should be moving on from Mike Tomlin, that he should be fired. And this was his response. I thought it was a really good response. He says, "We got resumes. We all do. And we got to stand on that. I live a life where I don't seek comfort. I don't make excuses. Engaging in that discussion, to me, is excuses. I don't live that life, man. I pour everything I got into what I do, man." There's a lot of mans in here, by the way. It's Mike Tomlin, okay? "And when the dust settles, it settles, and I keep it moving. I don't care a whole lot about what people have to say. Respectfully, I don't. Some people talk, some people watch, some people do. I am glad I am a doer. I am glad that I live in that world. I love the kitchen. I love competition. I love it when it gets hot. I love the challenges that our business presents. That is just the life I choose to live, and the things that come with it, man, I am okay with it." And honestly, guys, I thought this was the perfect response from Coach T here, because he's not somebody that's interested in making excuses for his past failures to get these playoff wins. And he is somebody that's absolutely, very aware that he needs to deliver for this fan base. He will say it time and time and time again. His job is to deliver for this incredible fan base. And, he will not engage in these discussions, like he says, because he doesn't want to make excuses, and he knows he has to get the job done. So if there's anybody out there that understands Mike Tomlin needs to start winning playoff games, it's Mike Tomlin himself, which is why he made he's made the push to go get Aaron Rodgers and get Jalen Ramsey and get DK Metcalf to hopefully get this team past that kind of monkey that's been on this team's back for multiple years at this point and win a playoff game, and hopefully more than that this season. And then he also said, when it came to the Rodgers saga and how they were comfortable waiting for Aaron Rodgers, he disclosed to Ryan Clark and his other guests and his other hosts, I should say, is that he knew something, and he definitely knew that Aaron Rodgers was going to be coming in. And that was the reason why the Steelers did not draft a quarterback in the first round of the 2025 NFL draft this year, is because they knew Rodgers was coming before he officially signed a contract, which is something that we talked about on this channel, that Mike Tomlin had to know if they're not going to take a quarterback early. And of course, he's here, and honestly, he played very well at practice today, and that's what we're going to be talking about next here on Steelers Talk. I've got my Steelers Monday practice report from Latrobe. I'm going to let you guys know everything worth noting of there in Latrobe this afternoon at Steelers training camp practice. But before we get into all those discussions here, I want to give you guys a great opportunity to get an Aaron Rodgers jersey of your own. You can go to chatsports.com/AR8 to get a great price on this Aaron Rodgers Steelers jersey. And it doesn't have to just be black, guys. It could be, the alternates, I believe, are up there as well. You got the white aways as well. So whatever color jersey that you want, we have it at our link, chatsports.com/AR8. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support, and get your jersey today. So now let's get into the practice report here surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers practice on Monday. Now, unfortunately, Darius Slay's practice got cut short today, had to leave with a lower right leg injury. He rolled up on his ankle, and it was a little bit of a scary scene, seeing the trainer kind of work on him early on in practice, especially for an older corner like Slay. But the good news is it doesn't seem to be too serious, and Mike Tomlin expects him to be back on the practice field pretty soon here. Nick Farabaugh from Penn Live had the update today right after practice, saying Mike Tomlin says Darius Slay rolled his ankle, but he's okay. He'll be back on the field ASAP, Tomlin added. So that's really good to see. But then there is also a number of other Steelers players that were not participating in the team drills. Calvin Austin III missed his fourth straight practice with an apparently minor injury. Alex Highsmith still nursing that groin injury. He was out. Ryan McCollum still out after missing the preseason game. Isaac Seumalo, I'm pretty sure, had a vet day today. Cam Hayward still working on his contract dispute. Corey Trice Jr., J.J. Galbraith, Jonnu Smith, Will Howard, of course, still dealing with that thumb injury. And then Jalen Ramsey was a limited participant today. Went through walkthroughs, but didn't participate in individual drills or team drills. I'm guessing he's going through something pretty minor right now. But, there's been some speculation that's been swirling around here surrounding wide receiver Calvin Austin III because of all these contract disputes that we have seen with Cam Hayward and Chris Boswell, and then the fact that Austin's injury was designated as a quote-unquote minor injury, and now he's missed a full week's worth of practices. Some people are wondering, is there something more to this than just a minor injury and the team being cautious? And some people think it could be that Calvin Austin III, who is entering a contract year, is looking for a contract extension from the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's people that have been on the ground there in Latrobe that are shooting this down, like Steelers DB, Derek Brown there on Twitter. Great follow, by the way, if you guys want to give him a follow. Says, I've seen this theory floated around a couple of times now, but Calvin Austin's absence is not contract-related, guys. He's hurt. So I do think that, the Steelers have been abundantly cautious with their veterans in the past. Just look at how they addressed the Russell Wilson calf issue last year. They're being extremely cautious with guys like Jalen Ramsey right now, who appears to be dealing with a minor injury. But I don't think Pittsburgh wants to extend Calvin Austin, guys. I'm not sure if they really see him as the long-term number 2 receiver in this offense because he can't run block. And the ideal number 2 receiver in this offense run blocks, all right? You ask Arthur Smith what he wants. He wants everybody outside of the quarterback to be able to block, and Calvin can't do that. So that kind of limits his role in this offense as kind of like a dynamic receiving threat on passing downs. So I don't think the Steelers would want to offer him anything on an extension more than wide receiver 3 type money, and I don't think that's the money that Calvin's interested in. So I wouldn't be shocked at this point, guys, if Pittsburgh gets aggressive and maybe tries to trade for a receiver. If somebody becomes available and, they want Calvin Austin III in return, it wouldn't shock me at all if they include Calvin and a mid-round pick next year so that they can get a more ideal number 2 receiver for this team. But I can also say it wouldn't shock me at all if Pittsburgh gives him a slight pay raise, a slight pay bump for this year to keep him here this season without giving him extra years on his contract. But I could also see, guys, that this is just an injury and there's no contract dispute and it's just speculation and people are going crazy, including myself right now, kind of speculating what's going on right here, and they're just being cautious with a receiver here that, they have big plans for this season. So what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comments section. Should the Steelers extend Calvin Austin III? Give me a yes or a no down there in the comment section. My personal opinion heading into the year is no. My advice to Calvin would be to play on the final year of his contract and earn a larger contract because I actually think he's good enough to make a pretty decent contract next offseason from some NFL team. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. Should the Steelers get ahead of a Calvin Austin III breakout season by giving him an extension? And then we get to the practice itself, the 7 shots breakdown. The defense got back in the win column today with a 5-2 win. The offense got going with a twisting touchdown catch from DK Metcalf is the way that it was described in the air. DK with a really impressive touchdown. But then TJ Watt had a PBU during the team period there. Then Isaiah Loudermilk tipped it up into the air, right into the waiting arms of Daniel Ekuale for an interception. Then you got Mason Rudolph throwing a touchdown on a slant to Scotty Miller, and then Rudolph threw to Miller again, but it was incomplete. Miller couldn't get his second foot down in the back of the end zone. Cole Holcomb had a PBU on Skylar Thompson, and then Jack Sawyer, the rookie out of Ohio State, got a pressure and forced a throwaway from Skylar Thompson on the final rep. Defense won the day 5-2, and heading into the final practice in Latrobe this year, the defense now wins the 7 shots battle 6-5. The offense will look to tie it up to finish out their time at St. Vincent College tomorrow afternoon. So now let's get into my takeaways on offense, and it definitely seems like, the offensive install for the Steelers from offensive coordinator Arthur Smith has gone in kind of waves here. The first week, you could definitely tell there's a lot of underneath stuff, quick game, get the ball out fast type of stuff. Then you saw some more intermediate stuff over the last 2 weeks, and now today they were bombing it down the field. There was no pads today, so it was a lot of 7-on-7 work, some 11-on-11 work, but they were throwing it down the field all day long. And something that I can really say was a good thing at today's practice was that Aaron Rodgers, QB1 of the Pittsburgh Steelers, was connecting deep with his guys. DK Metcalf, apparently it was a really good day for Rodgers and DK again. He connected with Roman Wilson on a fade route as well. That is going viral on Steelers Twitter right now. So to see Rodgers, who at this point in camp, I would say the one thing heading into this week that I wanted to see more consistency with was hitting his guys deep down the field, all right? There was still some accuracy woes when throwing 20-plus air yards down the field. Today, that wasn't an issue. Aaron Rodgers was dealing to all levels of the field, which you love to see. And then also the backup quarterback, Mason Rudolph, stayed hot as well. He hit Roman Wilson for a nice one today. I think he hit Pat Freiermuth on a seam shot for like a 50-yard touchdown today. Rudolph has been very, very solid all throughout camp. He knows where to go with the football. He's pretty darn accurate with the ball as well. He's got a great deep ball. Like, to have him as your backup quarterback, the Steelers got to feel very lucky to have him back in the black and gold, backing up Aaron Rodgers this year. So before we get into my defensive takeaways here, guys, click that thumbs up icon if you want to support the show today. Really does help us out. It tells the YouTube algorithm to push this video out to other Steelers fans like yourselves. So it really does help us out and helps us grow this channel. So if you want to click that thumbs up icon, it's free to do so. It takes a half second of your time. We would greatly appreciate it if you want to help us out today. Moving on to the defensive takeaways here. Joey Porter Jr. back in full practice action today, and he continued right where he left off, man. Super clean and strong camp for him. He locked down DK Metcalf on a deep route today from Rodgers, and he's just been overall very, very good in coverage all throughout camp. But what's different with Joey Porter Jr. this year is not only is he still one of the best press jam corners in the National Football League, but now down the field, he's not grabbing guys nearly as much as he has been in years past. Whatever work he put in during the offseason and with the Steelers, with Gerald Alexander, the new DB coach, it's working because this kid's looking like a legit number one shutdown corner on the outside right now. Then Brandon Echols, somebody that was a standout in the preseason game on Saturday, showed off his versatility today because he played in the slot. Now, this might be a little bit of an indictment on Beanie Bishop Jr. because he started in the slot on Saturday. Honestly, didn't look great. Gave up a couple lost on a couple of reps, wasn't the best in terms of the tackling, and he wasn't in best position to make tackles throughout the night. So they put Brandon Echols in there with James Pierre and Joey Porter Jr. with Ramsey and Slay out for today's practice, and Echols looked pretty darn good in the slot. So having that outside-inside versatility is really nice for a guy like Echols, because if somebody goes down on this Steelers cornerback room, God forbid, the Steelers fans can rest easy knowing that a good corner like Echols is going to be waiting in the wings. Then I thought it was a good day for Patrick Queen. Queenie, of course, started off training camp with that interception of Aaron Rodgers, but he's been relatively quiet since then. Now, obviously, linebackers aren't going to get into the thick of things all that much, but he had a PBU during team periods today. He had a sack today. He got more involved today, and he's had a lot of vet days off as well. So we just haven't seen a whole lot of Patrick Queen in some of the previous practices, but to see him out there flying around doing Patrick Queen things was good to see at today's practice. So where are you guys at? Let me know down there in the comments section. What is your confidence level in Pittsburgh's offense at this point in time? Put it on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being they're going to suck, they're going to be terrible, it's going to be more of the same here in Pittsburgh this year, to 10 meaning this is going to be a top 10 offense this year. I'm super excited. All right, that's going to be it for today's edition of Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already, guys. I got more coverage for you guys tomorrow. And until then, guys, here we go, Steelers. All right, I got some super chats, maybe just 2 to get to. So CJ Ross and then Steelers Nation, is that right? All right, so CJ comes in with a 5. Says, given that our run offense didn't look good on Saturday, we already saw.
Oh, did we go with that one?
Yeah, we've already seen this one. And then Steelers Nation $5 says Calvin should be worried holding out. Roman is starting to catch on and could surpass him, especially since he can block. Now, listen, man, I don't think it's a Roman versus Calvin situation. I think, the Steelers just kind of hope that Roman's going to be able to fit into his role into the offense, and then they kind of know what Calvin's role inside this offense is. And what Calvin's role is, it's not as that early down 12 personnel receiver that goes in there and run blocks. All right, that's not their vision for him. That's not how they used him last year when he was clearly the number 2 best receiver on the team. And I would still say Calvin is a better receiver than Roman is, but Roman is the more complete receiver in terms of the run blocking, in terms of those things. He can be more of an asset on early downs than Calvin can be.
We got an update on Cam Hayward. I don't know if you want to splice this in here, but Brooke Pryor tweeted a video out, and Cam Hayward said, "I'm looking to be valued. I know what I bring to this team and what I'm capable of."
Yeah, I saw this. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, there's nothing really new there.
Nothing new, yeah.
We all know where Cam stands on that. Now, he was asked point blank, will you miss games this year if you don't get what you want? And he definitely didn't say no. So, and by the way, that doesn't mean that I think he's going to miss games. Like, I think that's just him posturing with these negotiations. He doesn't want to give up any leverage, right, with what he says in the media. So, this is going to get done, guys. I said it last week. This is not something necessarily to be worried about. They got it done last year.
No doubt.
They're going to get it done again this year. They have plenty of cap space. They're going to get something done with Cam, and then they're going to get something done with Boz as well. So I'm not worried about this at all right? So
concern level?
2.
Okay.
2 out of 10 is where my concern level is. Like, maybe a little bit because you'd rather have him, ready to go and happy and all that stuff. But, somebody's asking, did I get to the PayPal from Martin? Pretty sure I did. Let me check here with my PayPal alerts. I'm pretty sure we got to Martin's, right?
We have not.
I completely missed it. All right, so I will get this to you, Coop.
F. Sperry in the chat.
F. Sperry in the chat. I skipped over someone's PayPal.
We also need to pay Chris Boswell.
Yeah, and that shouldn't be too much. Kickers don't get paid that much, so to pay him at a top 3, maybe even the top of market rate, it shouldn't be too much against the cap.
They have cap space to use.
And they have cap space to use. And that's why these guys are doing it. Because I don't know if Cam and Boz would be doing this if they didn't have the cap space to make it work. But Martin Klunder comes in with a $20 super chat, or a PayPal, my mistake. He says, big hello from Germany.
Shout out, Martin.
Shout out to Martin.
Huge.
I'm going to put Martin on the Gong here. He gets his 20 raffle entries as well for the hat. Martin Klunder.
Let's go.
All right, Martin.
That's kind of electric.
So you are in. Thanks for watching from Germany. I don't even know what time it is.
7 hours ahead.
7 hours ahead.
So 11.
So 11 o'clock at night. So thanks for watching with us here late at night. $2 from Bernard Nixon says. That was the one from earlier. He says, "Do you think they benched Rodgers? Do you think they bench Rodgers if there's a slow start?" I mean, what do we define as a slow start?
They're not benching Rodgers until the season's over.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Like, until they are completely out of playoff contention, they will not move off of Rodgers, all right? Like, Tomlin and Rodgers just have too much of a connection there. So until the season is over, essentially, and they're not making the playoffs, their hopes of making the playoffs are pretty much dead. They won't move off of Rodgers. So that's the way it's going to work. $5 from CJ Ross says, I love Cam, but didn't we just sign him to a 3-year deal last year? You don't get to cry because someone else got paid. So here's the deal. Apparently, so what Cam told the media today is that he told the Steelers when he signed his deal last year, when I become an All-Pro this year,
we will revisit.
We are going to revisit this contract. So apparently there was an understanding last year that if he became an All-Pro, which he did, he was a first-team All-Pro, that they were going to renegotiate. And right now he's getting paid the second highest amount among defensive tackles. He is a top 5 defensive tackle in the league still. I have no issue with Cam Hayward wanting more money. Because, frankly, he played at a discount last year because there was question marks surrounding him last year. He was coming off of a groin injury. The age, the stats weren't the same when he was dealing with some injuries in previous seasons.
There were thoughts he was going to retire.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the way Cam approached it last year is, fine, I will pay the contract that you want, but when I prove myself this year, I'm going to get the contract that I want next year. And he proved himself. He did what he did, and he was a great player. So, what I think is that a lot of people that complain about what Cam is doing would be doing the same exact thing if they had millions of dollars on the line for their job. If you had the opportunity to make how much more Cam is going to make this year, $5 or $10 million before you end up retiring per season.
What would you do?
You're going to say, oh, fuck $10 million? Like, no way you're doing that. Like, if you're in a position to make that kind of money, like, most people are going to, want to get that caliber of money, especially because the team can afford it.
Yep.
All right, the team has over $35 million in cap space this season. All right, so it's not like, he's going to – it's not like this –
They're not squeezing.
It's not like this contract is going to completely empty the coffers for the Steelers' cap space this year. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, you're still going to have, a very good amount of cap space after these deals get done. All right? Like, that's just the way that it is.
That was a very good word.
What?
Coffers.
Yeah, in the coffers. Like, right now you got 35.9. You have an easily top 5 defensive tackle in the game.
Pay him!
And he's not even getting paid in the top 20 at his position. I mean, if people really claim to love Cam Hayward the way that they do, they would want him to get paid what he's worth.
They're yanking his chain.
And it's like, something else that annoys me a little bit. Not about you specifically, CJ. We love you, CJ. But, like, just talking about people that side with the team. Like, people talk about this like it's their money that they're spending on these players. And it's like, no, like, these owners make billions of dollars, okay? Like, you have the cap space to make it happen. You're not going to be adding any players that are going to be major expenditures this year, all right? Like, as much as Steelers fans may want to get Terry McLaurin, that's probably not going to happen. You're not going to get Micah Parsons either, probably. Like, what player is out there that you are going to spend $30+ million on before the start of the year or at the trade deadline? It's not going to happen.
Tyreek?
I mean, maybe Tyreek, but, like, you're going to be unloading a player in that case, right?
True.
So, like, we'll see what happens here, but, like, people are freaking out about this when, like, if you were a top 5 defensive tackle in the game and you weren't getting paid top 20 money, and especially if you told the team, if I make All-Pro this year, I'm coming back to the negotiation table, like, I don't see where Cam is in the wrong here, personally. That's just my opinion. You can disagree with it if you want, but from my perspective, he is a top 5 defensive tackle in the game. He is still playing at that level.
Well,
he told the team that he's going to do just this.
Thing. If he told the team that he's going to do exactly what he's doing and they're surprised by it, that's on them.
Yes, 100. And the team can afford it. That's the other thing, too. The team can afford it. $20 from Bernard Nixon. Bernard will put you on the gong, my friend. I don't know where we're at in terms of the total right now. We're
at 63 plus.
Bernard.
We're at like 140.
140. So we are 110 away from hitting the gong today, just so you guys know. But, okay. I got another lemon shot that I owe you guys, too.
Oh, yeah. Bernard says Rodgers had better numbers than Stroud last year, but guys say he's washed.
So here's the thing about pure stats that you have to take into account. All right, I'm more of an averages guy because you look at Bo Nix's stats last year and they are like through the roof, and people are like, Bo Nix is awesome. Like in total yards, he had a ton of yards last year, ton of touchdowns. It's like, well, what did he do per pass attempt? All right, because think about it. All right, if you are a guy with 500 pass attempts, your opportunities to pad your stats is going to be a lot more than if you have 300 pass attempts. Aaron Rodgers was one of the guys last year that passed it a ton. All right, so when people compare the total yards to players like Stroud and Allen who had less total pass attempts last year, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because when you compare the yards per attempt, which is actual efficiency, Rodgers' numbers were not nearly as high. So listen, man, Rodgers was still capable of delivering 28 touchdowns and the amount of yards that he had last year. When defenses knew he had to throw the football, that's not nothing. I'm not trying to sit up here and say Rodgers is bad, but like Rodgers' pure numbers did benefit from the fact that he threw it, I mean, a lot. Like, let's just look at how many pass attempts did Aaron Rodgers have last year? He played all 17 games and they had no run game. All right, so like he had last year 584 pass attempts.
Divide that by 17.
That is insane. All right, that is like passing on every play.
It's 34 pass attempts a game.
Yeah. So, like, I'm not here saying that Rodgers stinks. I have been making the case all offseason long that Rodgers has an opportunity within a better organizational structure here in Pittsburgh to have a good season, especially if the offensive line plays well. He still has his arm strength. He still has his arm talent. It's the first time he's been fully healthy in 3 seasons. He still has great pocket presence. He still has a great ability to protect the football. He still has all-time great mental processing ability. There's a lot to like about Aaron Rodgers. All right, but if Rodgers had as good of a season as a lot of people want to say statistically last year, they would have won more games. All right, like we have to be honest with these discussions. All right, and I love you, Bernard, but like 400 and like let's just compare the total yards and then the pass and then the total attempts. So Rodgers didn't even get to 4,000 yards last year on 584 pass attempts last season. Then you compare that to, let's just use the Stroud example here. C.J. Stroud.
Coleridge.
So Stroud had 3,727 on 532. So he had 50 less attempts, all right? So you look at the average yards per attempt, Stroud was at 7, and then Rodgers was at 6.7. So that 0.3 difference, there's a difference there, right? So I'm not saying Rodgers is way behind Stroud, all right, but he had a lower yards per attempt number than Stroud in a down season last year. Where did Rodgers rank in yards per attempt last year, by the way? Let me just check that real quick.
You tell me.
I've got it right here in my sheet.
Yes?
Is that over there? I think that was over there.
Okay, I think we're back.
Are we good? All right.
Type me if we're back.
Type me if you can hear us.
Are we here?
I'm still disconnected on my computer.
It says perfect streaming. I'm going to refresh. We're back.
We're back?
Yeah.
All right, great. So sorry for that interruption, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
we go, Steelers. Here we go. All right, we got a couple more super chats we got to hit here, and then we'll do the raffle, and then we'll say goodbye for the day.
Just a bit of a snafu.
How much of that Rodgers rant did they get?
Most of it.
Yeah. Okay. So Derek with a $10 super chat says, if Skyler keeps playing like he did, do we make him the third string or do we just risk moving him to practice squad? I mean, like,
you can cut Skyler and be okay.
Yeah, like you can put Skyler on practice squad. If someone poaches him to be their third string, good for him. All right, like Skyler is not a legitimate option to become the long-term starter of this team. So, like, if somebody poaches him, good for him. He gets to be on an NFL roster this year. But, like, let's be real, man. Second half of a preseason game, he played well, but he is a third-string level quarterback. All right, so I would rather have Will Howard on the team. He had a good camp. I think he's shown enough to be the third-string quarterback, even if he doesn't play it down in the preseason. And, frankly, if we're going to the third-string quarterback, the season's over anyway, so you might as well have somebody that you just drafted.
Skyler had some nice during the game.
Yeah, he had some good throws for sure. And for a third string quarterback, he looked pretty darn good. He really did. $5 from CJ Ross. He's talking about Cam again. Says, I didn't realize Cam added that contingency. He met his obligations. Pay the man. LOL, he's worth every dime. Just like TJ was worth every dime. And I saw some people in the chat saying the fans want players to get less money because we want the team as good as it can possibly be. My question to those people, though, that say that is, what are we going to be adding to this team that's worth $30 million that makes this team better? Like, what else? Like, the Steelers are done adding to this team.
And I'll also counter that by saying, if you don't pay top dollar, you're not going to get the best players ever.
Yeah, and what does it say about your organization if you're not going to pay your locker room heartbeat? All right, like Cam is the leader of the locker room.
No doubt.
All right, like he is the leader of this team. Make no mistake about it. Like he is the guy that everybody looks to as the guy in the locker room. What's it going to say to the rest of the players in this organization if they don't pay him? It's going to say that this organization is cheap, that they don't pay their best players, and they're trying to squeeze every last dime they can in cap space. And even if you have money to spend, part of the reason why Cam is doing this is because he knows the Steelers have time, or they have money. They have the money to give it to him. All right, they have over $35 million in cap space. So, they give him a $10 million raise this year or whatever the number ends up being, and you have, $8 to $10 million less per for this year in cap space. how is that going to affect the Steelers' ability to trade for a receiver? How is that going to affect the Steelers' ability to do the things that they need to do this year from a team-building standpoint? They've already done a vast majority of their team building. They might add 1 or 2 more players at the very most, and those 2 players are not going to be expensive. So, like, the idea that the Steelers can't pay Cam Hayward because we want a better team, I don't see how that argument makes sense personally. But
that's bukkake.
Easy with that word on this platform.
I don't think that's a curse word.
It's not a curse word, but it's definitely an inappropriate word.
Is it?
Yes. Are you
sure?
kidding me with that?
Are you sure?
Do you know what that word means?
Maybe not.
If you don't say it. Don't say it again if you don't know what it actually means.
Just looked it up.
Coop just looked it up. He didn't know what that word meant.
Oh my God, I'm dead.
This is unbelievable, man.
I don't think we're gonna get shadowed for that.
By the way, we haven't said F Trader Joey yet.
F Trader Joey.
F Trader Joey in the
Joey
chat.
O'Donnell.
Alex Ellis has one more donation. All right, spam those me's in the chat if you're still here. How many people we still got in the chat here? We still got 889.
That is so funny, bro.
I couldn't believe you said that. I was like, why are you bringing that word up? Oh my gosh, dude, you're such an idiot. Coop is such an idiot, ladies and gentlemen.
Holy shit, that's funny.
He's our idiot, and we love him, but, I mean, goodness gracious.
That is unreal.
Gage, did you think the same thing?
I thought the same.
Yeah, like he just says bukkake randomly on the stream, and I'm like, yes, I did, because that's what you said. That's what you said. That's how I said it. That's what you said.
But you said it.
All right, we got Keith, we got Hot Rod. Let's give Hot Rod a free entry.
Hot Rod is in.
Hot Rod, you're in, my friend.
That is unreal.
All right, man. So listen, man. The thing with the Cam Hayward stuff, he's going to get a raise. They're going to get a deal done with him. I'm not worried about it whatsoever. And frankly, he deserves it. It's not going to affect the Steelers' ability to get a receiver if they want one. It's not going to affect their ability to build at the trade deadline. Like, that's not like, it's just, you got the money to do it. He's an all-time Steelers legend. Like, you gotta pay him. All right. Now, obviously, like TJ Watt, Cam's got to deliver in the postseason because he hasn't done that enough yet. But, like, listen, man, like, he's going to be able to do that this year. There's going to be an opportunity to do that. All right, so here is our wheel. We're going to be giving away a Steelers Talk hat to one lucky fan in the chat here. So you guys ready?
Are you ready?
I'm going to check my sub or followers here in just a second.
That is so fucking funny. I can't believe that.
All right, let's
oh
spin the wheel.
God.
Let's see who wins it.
That's good stuff. Who's it going to be?
I don't know. We'll see. Looks like Derek Smith.
Derek
Smith! Derek, let us know what you want to do, man. I know you already have a hat, so Coop and I can sign one for you and send it to you, or we can donate one. Let us know, Derek, in the chat. We'll give you a minute, and then I'll reach out to you on Venmo. It says, can we give that to someone? Yes, we can. Should we just spin the wheel again?
Yeah, I'll just remove Derek, and we'll spin it again.
Yeah, remove Derek, spin it again. Unless Derek has somebody specific in mind. Derek, if you have somebody in the chat you want to donate it to, let us know in the chat. We'll give you a minute to put your name in the chat. How about that?
Unless he wants us to spin.
Unless he wants us to spin. It's up to you, Derek. It's your decision. But how crazy would it be if Calvin Austin is in some legal trouble for the?
Yeah, I need to do some research. I saw someone in the chat saying he has a court date set.
Yes, he does.
No way.
And it's for like some animal thing.
Animal cruelty?
No, it's not animal cruelty. It's like it had something to do with a dangerous animal.
Twitter searching Calvin Austin.
So it's almost for me, what I got from it was he has a dangerous animal that quote unquote dangerous animal that he owns, and it attacked somebody.
He was arrested for this?
I don't know. There's an arresting officer listed on the document. I don't know. We don't have enough information on it right now, but All right, so Derek says just spin it.
Here we go.
So we will spin it again without Derek. See who wins the hat. If you want to put my email down there in the L3, Coop.
Will do.
Paul
Boone!
Or Paul Boone!
Let's go.
I have his Venmo, so we will send that hat to Paul Boone. Wait a second. Yeah, so Paul, get in touch with me when it comes to your hat, and we'll make sure to send you one, my friend. So that'll be it for today's show, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on a beautiful Monday. We'll see you guys again on Thursday for our next Steelers Talk Live show. And until then, guys, here we go, Steelers.